Next speaker is Mark Richards, DTM. Mark has been a Toastmaster since 2011. He's a writer and author. He was the president of the President Distinguished Area Governor in the year 2014-15 and has been DCP chair for the last 2 years. He received his DTM in 2016. This is his first youth leadership program that he has coordinated with the help of Anna Locker from Valencia. Their group of 25, 10 to 13-year-old homeschoolers learn the basics of communication and leadership skills while teaching Mark and Anna the value of this great workshop. Please join me in welcoming Mark Richards for his 8 to 10 minutes inspirational speech, Magic of YLP. Thank you.
Who here likes to hear icebreakers? Aren't they fun? How would you like to hear 25 of them? I had that opportunity recently when I decided to say yes and start a youth leadership program with a group of very enthusiastic young people. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and future leaders, there is nothing more exciting than a youth leadership program. And my goal today is to inspire you to take on this incredible workshop and try it for yourself. What I'd like to do is give you a brief overview of how the program works, where we started, and then where we ended up. The Youth Leadership Program consists of 8 1 to 2 hour workshops or sessions that take place over any period of time and is for people that are under 18. If you're over 18, you can join Toastmasters. But if you're under 18, this is a good way to experience a workshop on how to improve your public speaking and leadership skills. Several years ago, I was very interested in finding out how I could get to my next leadership goal or communication goal, which was the advanced communicator goal at the time. And one of the requirements was to do either a success communication workshop, a success leadership workshop, or run a youth leadership program. I happened to know somebody that had run a youth leadership program and was very enthusiastic about it and was very interested in the program and persuaded me that it's something that I should consider. My wife's an educator, so for me it was, okay, I'd like to take a shot at working with younger people, and I'd like to see what it's like. I spent weeks contacting schools. I contacted the boys' clubs, the girls' clubs, YMCA. I could not find anybody that was interested in the program. So I did a success leadership workshop, which was well attended, got my advanced communicator gold, and eventually my distinguished Toastmaster. Earlier this year, I got a call from a gentleman who was the Youth Leadership Program chair. Now, I guess somebody in the district knew that I was interested in this youth leadership program. The woman that called Toastmasters International, her name was Hosanna. She was coordinating groups of homeschoolers in workshops and special education programs, and so she heard about this program. She contacted Toastmasters. They contacted the district because she's right here, and I was contacted. I said yes. We always say yes. We get more opportunities. I didn't know what the youth leadership program really entailed, but I wanted to give it a try. I was working at Valencia, with Valencia, my Toastmasters club, when it was first introduced. At that club, a woman there named Anna became my co-coordinator. Together, we decided to get into this program and create the magic and find out what the magic of the YLP, the Youth Leadership Program, was all about. We received all the manuals from Toastmasters. I talked to the person who had first introduced me to the YLP, and I still didn't quite understand exactly how it was going to work. The first meeting, 25 10 to 13-year-olds showed up. They had no idea what this was about, except that their mothers or their fathers had said, this is a program that sounds really good and will probably be good for you for the rest of your life. You should really take advantage of it. They showed up, we gave them the workbooks, which they hadn't seen yet, and that day we elected 4 officers who had no idea what they were going to be doing. We elected a president, vice president, secretary, and sergeant at arms. They would go home and look at the workbook and find out what they were really going to be doing, which wasn't too complicated. But the first president, for example, at the next meeting, was to stand up in front of the group and run the meeting. What? Now, at the second meeting, also, the first group of 12 were going to give their icebreaker speech, and they were going to be evaluated by 12 others. None of them had been prepped on how to give a speech. None of them knew anything about evaluations. And so when we first started, okay, we were there. Okay, they began with, there we go. It's not moving here. This is the first picture that was taken on the first day. We didn't know what we were doing. But they gave, on that next week, 12 people gave their icebreaker speeches. Unbelievable. We had another 12 evaluate them, again, not really understanding what they were doing. But they did it. That's the key. The following week, the other half of the class gave their icebreaker speeches, and they were evaluated. On the third meeting, we decided that there was too many people giving speeches at one time, so we broke the group up into thirds. We also introduced table topics, which are impromptu speaking. They didn't know what they were doing. We got up there, we asked them a question, they answered it as best they could. It was a lot of fun. The blind leading the blind. That's how we do it in Toastmasters, isn't it? Right? We just do it. How do I do this? How do I be a table topics master? Or how do I become an officer? And you just do it. And that's how you learn. And that's one of the best rules of life. You just go out there and you just do it. Sometimes sitting at home reading a book on how to be a better public speaker, you probably fall asleep if you're reading that book. But if you're up here giving a speech and you're doing it, then you're learning. These kids were learning. It was amazing. On the fourth meeting, they elected officers, a new slate of officers for the next 4 meetings. After, and this is where they ended up. After the following, here we go. After all the speeches were done, the main topics of discussion that I heard, we had speeches on animals, history, music, public speaking, sports, toys, and trips. A whole gamut of different types of speeches. It was really amazing. I almost wish I had videotaped those speeches for those young people because they would have really liked to have heard it, I think, in the future. At the final day, we had a showcase. The showcase was where we invited all of the parents. This was actually the 9th meeting, if you want to call it that. And at this, I'm going to show some pictures. These are some of the pictures from, that was our second president, Elena. She actually ran the showcase event. I didn't run it, she did. And we had a debate. They came up with the idea for the debate, they're all homeschoolers. The idea for the debate was public schooling versus homeschooling, which is better. Half of them decided to be on the public schooling side to challenge themselves. They did it on their own. It wasn't me. And so this is them at the front. I'm just talking to them about the debate as we got started. And it was just an amazing event. I contacted the city, and the city was decided to come up with a very, very interesting and cool certificate that they gave in addition to the Toastmasters. And I wanted to read to you really quickly. Under their names it read, Future Leader, for developing your speaking and leadership skills to better prepare you to meet the demands and challenges of today's world by completing the Toastmasters International Youth Leadership Program. Congratulations on a job well done. Laureen West, Mayor. And they all got a copy of that in addition to the Toastmasters certificate. What they gave me, well actually what one woman did, is she is a calligraphist. And she gave me this incredible plaque that I'm going to put right next to my Distinguished Toastmaster Award in my office, while it reads, "The art of communication is the language of leadership." That pretty much says it all. If you are working towards your either advanced communicator goal, or you have the opportunity, and when you get to this point in your Pathways program, and you have the option, I highly encourage you, take on the Youth Leadership Program. It is amazing. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.